In 2030, all travel will be about wellness.
If places are trying to glom onto this and not offer a genuinely good product that would meet certain criteria, people are not going to take it seriously.
Your destination? New York. You think you know this city? Take a closer look. Women chefs, women artists. Experience them for yourself. Stick around. This is the WTAF show. Women, travel, art, food. Whether you're a White Lotus fan or a total nerd poring over properties on Expedia and Airbnb, 80% of women are seeking travel experiences for their personal wellness. And there is a $1 trillion global wellness tourism industry waiting to help you. I recently moderated a panel discussion on the topic in New York at the first ever ATN Innovation Summit, hosted by leading fitness industry media conglomerate Athletech News. Sharing trends and perspectives were some of the most sought-after thought leaders on travel, wellness, and hospitality. Great insight as you plan your own wellness trip.
Okay, so we are here at the ATN Innovation Summit in New York City, hosted by Athletech News. This is a disruption conference for the fitness industry. I am thrilled to be here. This is a convergence of two sides of my life. As head of communications and public affairs at Purpose Brands over the past 5 years, as I am moving more into the global wellness tourism space, which is a perfect match with the content for the WTAF show, because women are the travel super consumer, and surprise, women are the super wellness consumer. So we're gonna have a fantastic conversation on stage, so stick around. Your members are travelers, whether it is like looking for specific destination experiences, or more broadly speaking, I'm a consumer and I want to stay on my fitness routine when I'm traveling. So we're going to talk about the macro trends today that are affecting in this space. And the key takeaway we hope for all of you is that you start to think about how are you going along with your members when they take a trip.
I find that for a lot of people, this is a good way to look at the global wellness economy. Wellness tourism is a part of something people want to do. Everyone that's exercising, most everyone these days loves to travel. And in wellness tourism, there's the primary wellness traveler and the secondary, someone that is primarily traveling for wellness, or someone that's just traveling in general and wants to keep well.
Natalie, I'm going to switch over to you. You've got your pulse on the zeitgeist, all of the trends that consumers, from a travel standpoint. What are your observations in terms of the trends specific to wellness tourism, and maybe more so the consumer, the mindset around staying on top of wellness when I travel?
Yes, some years ago, maybe travel was more like, I'm letting loose and all bets are off. And now people say, I want to feel good when I travel. I want to feel good when I get home. I want this to be restorative. So I talk to travel planners people say, I want to connect, whether that's with themselves, with their bodies, or with the people that they're traveling with. Wellness might be getting a really relaxing beach rental somewhere where you can really just unwind, disconnect from your phone and your work. People also will go for that, wellness travel experience. The White Lotus last season was a perfect example of people going and spending a week somewhere really beautiful, talking to a doctor about, what is my baseline health right now? What can I do to improve? Can I do this yoga retreat or a surf camp in Costa Rica to really recharge? So we're seeing it definitely grow. And like you mentioned, there are people who think about this as they are planning their trips. And then there are people who are doing this almost microdosing the wellness elements and just doing things to make themselves feel good while they're traveling.
Are you seeing anything from a travel standpoint where the devices and the technology are influencing some of the decisions that people are making about how they travel and where they go?
It seems like people, we're optimizing all other parts of our lives and we really want to prioritize wellness. So we see people staying connected to their Stravas, they're logging their hikes. They are making sure they're getting that good sleep and logging all of the wellness markers of their home life while they travel. We see lots of hotels catering to people, offering these better sleep packages, ways that you can be getting that precious sleep that you may be not getting in your normal life. So definitely, I think people being more aware of what goes into having healthy well-being is going with them when they travel.
Let's switch over to the destinations themselves. What are you seeing happening in terms of wellness experiences that are being offered to meet this demand that is coming from the consumer end?
I think what we're seeing is wellness touch points throughout the guest journey. So not just in fitness centers or in spas, it's really moving beyond that. So Sleep is an important piece in providing even pillow menus or breathwork classes within your room, healthy options at restaurants. So those are just some of the ways that we're seeing programming being developed for people, meeting them where they are on their wellness journey. There's a lot of spaces in resorts and hotels that have underperforming spa rooms or business centers that are completely outdated because you can do everything on your phone, or even meeting rooms that aren't being utilized that have now been turned into these wellness zones and this touchless technology of recovery spaces for people to use when they want to. People who don't want to go into a spa or want to recover after a workout or a hike or golfing are utilizing these spaces, and it's great for the hotels because it's another source of revenue and they're also providing guest satisfaction.
Wellness travel is hot, and as a traveler, the choices can be overwhelming, sometimes not as advertised. But help is on the way. An emerging certification standard called WIT, or Wellness in Travel and Tourism, aims to help consumers choose authentic, trusted experiences.
I was really looking for that authentic wellness experience, especially important now because the breadth of what is everyday wellness for people has really increased, right? And that means there's more touch points, whether it's around movement, nutrition. So we had to start to think about what standards could be created for what is a wellness hotel. You've seen certifications around sustainable buildings like LEED certification, sustainable destinations. Well, this is the same concept, but for identifying authentic wellness.
Natalie, I want to hear your perspective because you're getting the announcements from all of the hospitality brands, from all the travel brands. So you're seeing everything that is out there today. Which brands are doing an exceptional job moving in this direction, just based on your reporting?
I think the ultra luxury hotels are obviously killing it. You know, the Four Seasons, Banyan Tree, Six Senses. If you are having people paying $1,000 a night, you are probably offering them the top class of all these things. But I've even been impressed by some of the not so ultra luxury properties. Habitas in Mexico, for example, is a place where you can get an incredible massage treatment and local traditional wellness experiences, and it's not going to cost you $300 a treatment or $1,000 a facial. I think that a shout out to Airbnb experiences outside of a hotel, but a way of connecting people with wellness experiences, whether through spas, or I was able to book a Temazcal experience in Mexico, way off the beaten path, this local wellness tradition with, you know, a translator and everything, and that was not something that I could do staying in a guest house. So I think there's lots of different ways that brands are doing this. Certifications are great because I think the more common experience is travelers being disappointed when they go to some hotels and they show up to the hotel gym and they're like, what is this? So I'm happy that this is coming to more properties.
There is a hotel brand that is all about fitness now, and it's called Cyro. And it just opened in Dubai, and they're actually a hotel for fitness enthusiasts. And it's SIRO, and they're going to open lots more. And they're all about fitness and recovery. So it's like-minded people. So I think some of those things showing up, I think will be very helpful. In 2030, all travel will be about wellness. People want to go and feel better after their vacation or even a business trip. They want to feel better when they're traveling. I think the one thing we're seeing now that's new is the longevity piece. So now there's a lot of talk about longevity, and so we're having a little more of the science come in because there's more updated science, there's more diagnostics, and so it used to be, I remember well when we were in India, there's the medical and then wellness. They were very separate, but now more and more they're coming closer together. And the good thing is, because we still feel it's very valuable to have them in separate lanes, but collaborating. And collaboration works very well because you have the medical expertise and you have the wellness. Because wellness, you know, people think wellness, oh, I know what wellness is, but we're finding that's not exactly the case. And that's why I think certifications are good so people can learn more about it. but working with medical, people wanting to age, health span, not lifespan.
I think that a lot of people are going to get burnt out on the concept of wellness and travel if they get duped. And I think there's similar to greenwashing in travel, places trying to make them sound more environmentally friendly. If places are trying to glom onto this and not offer a genuinely good product that would meet certain criteria, people are not going to take it seriously. But I do think that people really do want to incorporate wellness into travel and we see that in lots of different ways. So it'll be interesting to see how much money they're willing to portion in their travels for this.
Absolutely fantastic conversations on stage here about global wellness tourism. The thing I'm most excited about is when I think about the survey data that we have that ask women what they really want when they travel, the convergence with wellness tourism is undeniable. We are looking at travel as an act of self-care, as an act of wellness, and even if we are not going specifically for a medical reason or a yoga retreat, we want to be taking care of ourselves when we do this. And so lots more to come, but I feel so inspired that what we're doing on the WTAF show is spot on. Let's tell stories about women who travel, let's talk about women chefs and artists, and let's think about travel as an act of self-care. Sky's the limit.
Susie Ellis with the Global Wellness Institute said it best. Wellness and travel will soon be one and the same. And my take, more than ever, women need to see ourselves and each other in the stories of travel. With that, I hailed a cab. Time to get back to the show.